All right, America, it's time for the Ringside Wranglers Wrestling Report with your host, Has-Been and Jack Jaw.
What's up, wrestling fans? I'm Jack Jaw with the Ringside Wrangler Wrestling Report. This week, Has-Been / Kansas is on assignment. What you think of that, producer Punk?
Man, everybody's got to take a break every now and then. Come on.
Well, there he goes. He's on assignment, hopefully coming back with some good news from Kansas.
Right on.
That's right. I'm Jack Jaw, Ringside Wrangler Wrestling Report. We cover news from the WWE, AEW, sometimes Impact, sometimes NWA, but we always cover the independents. We got some good news again from the independents this week. We got a special story at the end of the show called Insane Things You Never Saw on WWE TV. Who would have thought that? Crazy.
Not me. Never.
So on to the news from the WWE. We got Raw starting out the week this week. What we thought we'd do, just run down the winner, just give you an update, give you a weekly recap. There's a graphic right there. WWE Raw this week. Drew McIntyre starts off the show with Heath Slater. They get into it. Drew McIntyre accepts the match with Heath Slater. He gets the win. Also in the night, you've got Kairi Sane. She gets the win over Sasha Banks. You got Seth Rollins coming out for the KO show. Kevin Owens inviting him out. Right there, you've got it going on where they're going to announce the Extreme Rules match. Sure enough, you've got Rollins versus Mysterio at Extreme Rules. That blossoms into a match. Rey Mysterio and Kevin Owens taking on Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. Guess what? Rey Mysterio, Kevin Owens get the win. I don't like that because what that points to me, Rey Mysterio does not get the win at Extreme Rules, and I'm telling you right now, that does not bode well. I'm looking for Rey Mysterio's son to stab him in the back. We'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah.
Next up, you got Bobby Lashley and MVP taking out Cedric Alexander and Ricochet. Who cares? Then you've got Randy Orton, Andrade, and Angel Garza taking on Big Show and the Viking Raiders. Another, who cares? They get the win there. Then you got Billie Kay from the Iconics. The Iconics, my team. Billie Ray gets the win over Ruby Riott, just like her colleague, co-team, tag team, whatever. What you doing there? Breaking up some stuff? Then you've got Osaka taking on Bayley in a champion versus champion lead up. Non-title match. Osaka gets the win. But our match of the week right there, none other than Drew McIntyre, Heath Slater. Heath Slater, it sells a great story. Beginning of the show, he's talking, you left me high and dry. I was with you. The three of them, what are they, three-man band? The three-man band at one time was Drew McIntyre, Heath Slater, and the other former champion. Either way, I'm glad he's gone. Heath Slater, great mic skills this week. He gets the loss of Drew McIntyre, but that match was great. And in the interim, you've got Dolph Ziggler turns his back on Heath Slater after he befriends him at the beginning. Heath Slater gets help from Drew McIntyre, who beat him. Long storyline, either way. Good storyline this week.
Does that make him a heel?
You know what? He started off. Heath Slater starts off the night as a heel, and then he turns full circle. And because a real heel, Dolph Ziggler, takes him out, then I guess now Drew McIntyre and Heath Slater are both faces. So saves the day. Good ending. Match of the night for Raw that week, right there. Drew McIntyre, Heath Slater. On to NXT. You got 6 matches this week. You got Candice LeRae versus Mia Yim. Candice LeRae gets the win there. You got Bronson Reed versus Tony Nese. That's a replay match. Bronson Reed gets the win there. Johnny Gargano versus Isaiah Swerve Scott. Johnny Gargano gets the win there. Then you got Legado del Fantasma versus Drake Maverick and the Breezango. Del Fantasma gets the win there. Then you've got female Mercedes Martinez taking out Santana Garrett. And then this is right here an epic, great champion versus champion match. Match of the night. Go on to the next slide. You've got North American champion Keith Lee taking out Adam Cole. Who would have thought that? I thought you were building up for the Adam Cole and Karrion Kross match, but apparently now it's going to be Karrion Kross taking on Keith Lee. That right there was sold at the end of the night with Karrion Kross staring at Keith Lee, who is now the first dual championship holder in NXT. Who would have thought that?
Not me.
Not me. Who would have thought it? I mean, they're building up Adam Cole, but apparently not. Keith Lee is the man, dual champion.
Oh, yeah.
On to SmackDown.
Boom.
Hit it. Jeff Hardy versus The Miz. Jeff Hardy gets the win there. Bayley and Sasha Banks take out Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss via pinfall. Then you've got Jey Uso. He hosts a karaoke contest. When they go off on these off the beaten path non-match, just stuff on the side, you're just going, what are they doing? Who is writing this stuff? Either way, that was crazy. Jey Uso having this karaoke thing with Lacey Evans, Dana Brooke, Tamina, Naomi. Boring. Turn the channel, go take a break, whatever. Then that blossoms into Lacey Evans and Naomi. That ended in a no contest. Then you got AJ Styles. This right here, I can already tell you right now, this will be our match of the week next week. AJ Styles taking on Matt Riddle. That's set for next week's SmackDown. Then you got the New Day versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. That ended in a no contest, but I got to give it to you. Match of the week this week on SmackDown. Who do you think it was? There it is right there. Cesaro and Nakamura. That right there was a great – I mean, I see them taking the belts from New Day any time now. Who knows? Either way, on to AEW Dynamite. This week was week 2 of the Fyter Fest. Weekly recap on Dynamite. You had Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. They keep the belts versus Private Party. Then you've got Lance Archer. This match was set up last week. He takes out Joey Janela. Then you got the Lucha Bros, Butcher and Blade. They defeat FTR and Young Bucks. I did not see that one coming. Either way, FTR, Young Bucks, I don't know what's going to go on with them, but they're definitely headed towards each other. Then you got Nyla Rose. Little teaser last week out there that possibly Nyla Rose was going to be challenged by Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard, I guess, hasn't made up her mind yet, but Nyla Rose takes on 2, what do we call them, jobbers / talent enhancement, Kenzie Page and Killian King. Nyla Rose, of course, gets the win against those guys. Then you got the Dark Order and Cabana taking out SCU. And then the main event of the night, you've got Chris Jericho taking out Orange Cassidy for the week. Match of the week that week. Of course, I'm telling you right now, Orange Cassidy, he was chalked up as somebody who would be like maybe just a little flash in the pan. But I'm telling you, Orange Cassidy has some skills. That was a great match there. That's your match of the week to me. Our match of the week this week have been brought to you by Defense Shopper. We'll cover that in a second. On to Independent Go. Check that next slide right there. There's our match of the weeks brought to you by Defense Shopper. On to support Indie Pro Wrestling. Weekly recap. We have some movement in the indie world. East Coast Professional Wrestling. What you got?
That's it, man.
There we go.
ECPW.
There we go. ECPW. They were a little stagnant the last couple weeks, but I tell you what, they've got 2 big videos they posted up this week. They've got crazy, crazy video content. Big Van Vader, the late great Big Van Vader, taking on Andrew the Reinforcer Anderson. You got Gangrel. Remember that dude? That was an awesome dude right there. Gangrel taking on Frankie Flo Rivera. Then you've got the awesome Shane, the franchise Douglas. He's on their content this week. Then you've got Tommy Dreamer on there. You've got the real X-Pac on there. You got Hacksaw Jim Duggan on there.
What?
It's crazy. The content that ECPW put out on their Facebook this week. Check it out.
Nice.
Atomic Revolutionary Wrestling. They've got this new series they've started on their Facebook channel / YouTube called Extreme Takeover Thursdays. Extreme Takeover Thursdays.
Yes.
They had their first episode. It's going to be good. It's good content. It's something to watch outside of the two brands that we've been used to seeing. Good content there. Every Thursday, tune in to Extreme Takeover Thursdays from Atomic Revolutionary Wrestling.
Boom.
There we go. On to Wrestling 225. This week, they had their backwoods beatdown. I got to give it to you. That was pretty intense. A little outside action. Corey Constantine, I believe this was his first title defense. He's taking on Chase Bell. This was a no-holds-barred, anything goes. Last man standing. There was chairs. There was even fire. They set a table on fire. The fire didn't take too well, but either way, Corey Constantine got driven through the table. Ultimately, Corey Constantine gets the win in his first title defense. Corey Constantine is the man. This week on Wrestling 225, they had somebody, I don't know who this guy is, but he's calling out Corey Constantine and Chase Bell as cruiserweights, and he's a real heavyweight. We'll have to see where that goes. So tune in to Wrestling 225 Facebook page. Check out the action. Who knows when they'll be posting some other event that they cover. I thought the production was pretty good. that they put on this
Yeah.
week. Tuesday. I sent you a link to it. I hope you watched it.
Yeah, I watched it, for independent production, man. That was pretty good. And just to pass the time, come on, that was real entertainment.
Yeah. There we go. And then I like the way they did it back to back. So if you missed any part of it, you could just watch it right over again. Either way,
right.
Backwoods Beatdown. That was great production by Wrestling 225. On to Wildcat Wrestling. This week, they've got a YouTube match. They're doing their Tuesday night things as well. This Tuesday night, July the 14th, 7 p.m., Scott Phoenix versus Danny Flamingo. That ought to be good. That's going to be good. I enjoy watching it. Quick little nugget of good independent wrestling to check out. On to the next. What do we got next up there? Pull it up. There we go. Matches of the week. We covered those earlier. Sponsored by Defense Shopper. They're one of our sponsors. If you want to enter the code JackJaw when you check out, you get 20% off. And you get free shipping. What are you, crazy? Take care of yourself. They got stuff like a badass flashlight, 20 million volt stun gun. You got to protect yourself these days. 20% off. Put in JackJaw. They've got pepper spray. They've got a little small miniature, the Bashlight. That's crazy. 20% off of that. Either way, check them out. They're our friends at defenseshopper.com. They're sponsoring our match of the week that we covered last week. That's going to be the new format of our show. We'll run down highlights, what happened at shows, but we're always going to give you who was the match of the week each show. On to our weekly spotlight this week. This is nuts. We found this content none other than from WrestleLamia. WrestleLamia on YouTube put out this story, put out some stuff that I've never even knew would even happen. I hope this shocks you like it shocked me. This week, their title was 11 Insane Things You Never Saw on WWE TV. And when I tell you what they were, you'll think, God, you never did see them. First up, you had New Jack. There was actually pitching a storyline where New Jack was going to have stabbed John Cena. John Cena went on a little hiatus to shoot the Marine movie, and they were saying that he got mugged in a bar or something. And they were going to come back and they were going to say that New Jack stabbed him. But New Jack is so over the top. Nobody wanted to touch that. But, hey, they actually toyed with it. Ultimately, it came back that somebody else did some stuff to Cena. But the fact that New Jack was possibly in a storyline with Cena, that would have been insane for sure. Next up, Big E. When he was making his debut, he was down there wrestling in Florida Championship Wrestling, FCW. They were going to bring him in as the Mailman, and his name was Mel Man. Mel, M-E-L-M-A-N-N, Mel Man, and they were going to be the Mailman. Are you kidding me? How lame is that? Next up, AJ Styles. They were queuing him up to bring him on the TV, bring him on the main thing. They were going to bring him in as a luchador. Are you kidding me? And they were going to call him Velocity. I mean, what were they thinking? If somebody would have done that, that would have just been a complete squash of his career. He would have been gone from WWE TV already if that would have happened. Either way, AJ taking on the name Styles on a whim. That was awesome. AJ Styles, no way a luchador. He is the man. Next up, Dean Ambrose. At what point they were teasing that Dean Ambrose, before the Shield days, he was going to come in and be AJ Lee's boyfriend. AJ Lee already had her psychotic side, and he was going to be a little psychotic too with her, I guess. But, man, thank God that didn't happen. That would have been insane in itself. Next up, you had Kane. Who would have thought this? Kane, a part of DX. They were going to bring him in as a green man, green outfit or whatever. Kane, part of DX. That would have been completely insane. Who knows how well that would have gone. But one time they put the mic in front of him back when he wasn't really talking that well. He was like, if you're not down with it, you could suck it. That was crazy. That was comical. Wouldn't have lasted long. That was really insane. Then you had somebody, Baron von Bava or Baron von Bava or whatever. He was going to be a Nazi soldier, a Nazi soldier. That would have gone bad south very fast. Either way, so glad they didn't do that. Here's another one coming up on SummerSlam next month. Who would have thought they were going to do this? At one point, they were going to team Justin Bieber. Look at those guys right there. Justin Bieber with Big Show and The Miz and John Cena taking on the Wyatt family. Are you kidding me? Justin Bieber, part of wrestling. If he just showed up, I would have been turning the channel. Just me, just saying. Justin Bieber's got no place in WWE TV, but they once thought about it. That would have been insane. Then you've got this is another crazy thing here. I think we have all heard this story, and we just scratched our heads and said, whatever. Vince at one point was pitching this whole incest angle with his family. Apparently, when Stephanie was pregnant with her first child, they were going to toy the story that either Vince was the daddy, and then when they didn't want that, they said, well, her brother was the daddy, Shane. I mean, I don't even know how they even got to even thinking about that. You got to wonder what the writers or even what their mindset is to even think that. That is just stupid. Whatever you want to call it, that would have been insane. It would have just been, I would have had to probably not tune in, check out for a while had that happened. That was nuts. So Vince, incest is best thing. That was stupid. Then you had the Revival. Recently, the Revival have just joined over FTR over into AEW, but in an attempt to keep them on the main brand WWE Raw or wherever they were going to be in the WWE family, they were pitching different things. They were going to make them a comedy of characters. There you go, right there. It was just nuts. And then basically the Revival said, you know what? We'll do that to the end of our contract, but you can do whatever you want. We're not renewing. That angle is just stupid. So the Revival has comedy characters. They were going to have bizarre costumes and lipstick. I mean, it's just stupid. Check that out. That's insane and that's dumb. Either way. Next up, then you had Melina. Remember when Melina used to manage Batista and there were all this crazy stuff right there? At one point, they were teasing the writers were going to actually write Melina in as a man. They were going to say, and you spoof Batista and say, you were with a man. Because in real life, I guess it wouldn't have sold too well because in real life, Batista was having a little thing with Melina anyways. But to think that they were going to, at one point, write into the story that Melina is a man, that was just crazy, crazy, insane stuff. Last up, on number 11, the most insane things that never made it to WWE TV. How about this one? Goldust was actually going to have breast implants when he was doing the whole oozing of stuff. Vince one time said, hey, I want you to get breast implants. And the story behind the scenes, if you read Vince Russo's book, Vince Russo even said, hey, that was legit. And on top of that, Goldust says, Vince, I'll get the breast implants for $1 million. And apparently Vince didn't take him up on that. Either way, Goldust kind of, whatever he ended up doing the rest of his career, hey, he's in AEW now with his brother. So either way, to each his own. Crazy 11 things, everything from incest to male boob jobs to females that were men to Kane being part of DX. Just crazy, crazy stuff that goes on in the back at wrestling shows to put these shows together. Just nuts. Either way, we had somewhat of an abbreviated show this week. Kansas will be back next week. We had producer Punk sitting in this week for comments. There's our performers of the week. We covered them earlier. Defense Shopper sponsored them. I'm Jack Jaw. This has been the Ringside Wranglers Report. Guess what? If you need us to support you in pitch your shows, pitch your independent shows, we can do that here at Ringside Wrangler. Reach out to us at ringsidewranglers@gmail.com. Like us on our Facebook page or follow us on our subscribe on our YouTube. Comment, whatever you need to do to get in touch with us. We'll hit you back. Here we are, ringsidewranglers@gmail.com. I'm Jack Jaw. Reach out to us. Have a good week. We're 1 week out from Extreme Rules. And guess what? You know, a quote, real quick. Quote I heard this week on Extreme Rules. This is nuts. Extreme Rules used to be every match was either a no DQ, anything goes, last man standing. Extreme. All right? Extreme. They only have 3 matches on this Extreme Rules that are going to be no DQ. It should be every match. Anything goes. Falls count anywhere. Last man standing. Everything goes. No referees. Just whatever. But no rules, I guess, in the house environment. Center. Who knows? Anyway, I'm Jack Dahl. This is the Ringside Wranglers Report. Check us out weekly. YouTube, Facebook, whatever. I'm out.